Hello everyone. In this episode we're going to talk about database transaction IDs. Turns out that when you start a transaction, PostgreSQL assigns a unique identifier to the transaction. Let's see this in action and it's going to make more sense. Let's start a transaction. Here you may notice that we used the begin SQL statement instead of a begin transaction. And they are both equivalent. You can use either of those and you're gonna get the same result. Next, we're gonna select the value of a special function called txid underscore current. txid stands for transaction, and this function returns the currently running transaction ID. Transaction ID is an integer. It's a 32-bit unsigned integer. And PostgreSQL guarantees that this ID is unique among all the concurrently running transactions. So let's say you have 5 transactions running, then PostgreSQL guarantees that all of them gonna have a unique ID. And here we see the result. It turns out in this case to be 1086. It can be any other number as long as it's 32-bit integer, right? And that's fine that we have a transaction ID, right? And every transaction has an ID. But you may ask, how is it used, right? How is it useful? And PostgreSQL uses transaction ID whenever transaction changes the data, right? Whenever transaction, let's say, inserts the data, updates the data, or deletes the data, then that row in a table that a transaction changed will be labeled by the transaction. So for every row that you have in a table, you can tell what was a transaction ID that created or updated that transaction, that row, right? Let's see it in action. Let's say here we have an insert statement. We are inserting a simple value into the labels table. And next we're gonna select all the rows from the labels table. In this case, it's just gonna be a single row, the one that we just inserted. And here we are selecting all the columns, but besides, we are also selecting the new column called xmin. xmin is one of the hidden columns that PostgreSQL stores for every table. And this is a special column which stores the value or rather the transaction ID that inserted or updated this row, right? So in this case, no surprise that it's gonna be the same as currently running transaction, because currently running transaction is the one that inserted this specific row, right? So it can be used for troubleshooting purposes. We want to investigate what was a transaction ID that inserted or updated this row, right? It has other uses as well in PostgreSQL, and those we're gonna see in the later episodes. We're gonna talk about the isolation levels in PostgreSQL. For now, just know that every transaction has a unique identifier, and that whenever transaction inserts, updates, or deletes a row, then those rows are marked or rather labeled with the transaction ID, right? So that was all for this video. In the next episode, we're gonna talk about implicit and explicit transactions. So see you there, and thank you.